Greetings one and all. I wanted to do a little Gurdjieff talk, and I've been trying various exercises lately, which I hope many of you are doing as well from the Gurdjieff work, but I've definitely been doing too much thinking. I often sit in the silence and wonder what is beyond the silence. I often look in the shadows and see, or try to see, what is beyond the shadows. I wish to be open with myself and to be honest with myself. And I wish to feel the silence. And within that real silence, I should be able to feel, is that the right word? I should be aware of the emptiness. For we should all try and come to the state of emptiness, of nothingness. I am nothing. But there is a part of me that keeps bringing me back. Something keeps speaking to me, or suddenly an emotion comes along. And then I was realizing that what I needed was absolute tranquility, which I think everybody's trying to attain in this world anyway. But I was trying to sit and be still, feel the emptiness, and at the same time bring a tranquility into myself. And I hadn't done anything like that for a long time. I used to do a lot of meditations. I used to go to a lot of guided meditations, and I used to do my own meditations. And I remember doing a recording, I think it was last year, saying I've been finding it really hard to meditate lately, so I've just been sitting. And I've been doing a lot of that again still, of course. Try to do my exercises in the morning, my I am exercises and Lord have mercy exercises and such like. But trying to attain to that emptiness has been a bit of a struggle, even though my intellect is telling me I am nothing. But my emotions are bubbling around in the background. There is a part of me that still wants to recognize who I am, what I am, why am I here? The questions that many truth seekers have been asking from, probably since humanity began. I am, of course, trying to liberate myself, yet at the same time trying to remember myself. And Gurdjieff talks about dying to oneself so that we can have some kind of inner rebirth. I've had a few of those over the years, over my lifetime, and each time a little bit further I go along my spiritual soulful path. But of course the mind constantly tries to interfere. We can never stop the thoughts, they are continuous. We have to just let them go by when we're trying to be centered, when we are trying to be still. Just let the thoughts go by and not be attached. Note the emotions that bubble up, but not become attached to them. Be aware of one's body, feeling the different parts of our body where there's a little bit of stiffness, where we're being tense. Why are our muscles not all relaxing? That can be quite a hard exercise. I know Gurdjieff gives it to a lot of people, of relax every muscle in your body. Sometimes it takes a good 20 minutes for me to be able to gain that, to do that. And the difference I feel, the lightness I feel is wonderful. And it lasts for a while until suddenly I get caught up in the lunatic asylum again and get thrown back into mechanical way of thinking and being. It can be very difficult to bring our body to a state of no tension, relaxation, how to go deeper and deeper into it. I remember in olden days when I first started doing these kinds of exercises, I quite often just used to fall asleep. But hopefully something was happening whilst I was asleep. Maybe I was off into another astral realm or something. But I did used to notice how my thought patterns worked, which helped to break thought pattern programming. trying to attain a more fine version of thought, a fineness of thought. But throughout all of this, I've always had the impression, I'm there, I exist. I exist, therefore I am. I think, therefore I am, I think is what Descartes was saying, but I exist, therefore I am. So it comes back to the, well, what am I supposed to be doing with myself? I recognise the different states within myself. How do I bring them all together so they're more centred, neutral, a more relaxed way? I keep going back to the word relaxed. I obviously need a bit of relaxation. To be aware of my suffering, how to use that to change that in, use the remorse of conscience exercises of changing myself so that we can't change the past, but it does help the past, but it definitely helps change our future if we can work with our remorse of conscience, which a lot of people used to find quite an awkward thing to do, and I myself did. It is deep and dark lessons we can learn from that. When certain things that happened in the past suddenly come up that make us cringe or go down a bit of a negative thought pattern, and we have to ponder upon them and turn it around into understanding of why that happened. Obviously it was not I. It was an I, not an awakened person. It was just a mechanical person doing those things. But becoming aware of that kind of thing makes us aware of how insufficient our life had been before. We weren't seeing clearly, and we're trying to see clearly. A lot of the time our sufferings are all about different desires and attachments to what we want, what we need, or what we feel we need, and what we're not getting. But sometimes everything seems unreachable, as if I can't quite grasp what it is I'm supposed to be doing through these Gurdjieff exercises. It's a real struggle, but I have to persist and continue. Some days I give up and go back to mechanical ways of thinking. But if I persist, on those days I persist, and the struggle works within me, there is a kind of transformation, because this is all an alchemical process, obviously. And when I work at it, revelations kind of come to me of why the struggle was there before, or why there was that suffering, and how instead of being attached to it, how I deal with it, how I work with my thoughts, feelings, and my body. I look at the impressions I've been receiving from that incident, or the impressions I'm getting from how I'm feeling and thinking, and perhaps sitting or standing awkwardly, and making a big effort to change that for the better. At the same time being conscious of myself in me, our I, my I. Because life can feel quite chaotic, can't it? And we're trying to bring some kind of, well, I'm going to use the word tranquility again. A tranquility to how we are thinking, feeling, and being. Am I acting, or am I reacting in a positive way, or in a way reacting in a way that's more conducive to the situation? Am I acting a role to please others, or am I acting a role to get what I want? But somebody did ask me the other day, do I have faith in Gurdjieff? And I replied immediately, yes, I do have faith in Gurdjieff. I have faith in his system, though at the same time I strongly feel that the system once you know the basics to it, you adapt to yourself. Each system, no, each individual has their own system, but there's a basic underlying set of laws to it. We try to understand Gurdjieff's system and then put it to our own work. As he said, verify everything for oneself. I know I often have doubt that I can succeed. I do not doubt the system works, but I sometimes doubt myself that I can make it to the end. I have to have meaning and purpose as to why I am doing this work. Obviously, I'm trying to reach a higher level, trying to connect with my higher self. And this is all essential efforts, of course. It's all essential struggling as part of it. But I understand I need to bring together, I need to unite my centres. My centres that often seem to want to go and do their own thing. My intellect wants to do one thing. My emotional centre wants to do another. My physical body is saying something else. But one question that's been coming up a lot lately is, who am I? Who am I? Where am I? Is that me thinking, or are there thoughts coming in from other places, other beings? Or is it too many of my eyes struggling to get my attention through throwing different thoughts at me? Obviously, my body's getting older every day, as each and every one of our bodies are getting older every day. And I have to work on my body as well and make sure that I try to give it the best it deserves. Good food, good water, alcohol. No, I don't drink, but for some people it works. Try to intake the right stuff to keep my body flexible. Do the right exercises. But still, I feel this tension from the being involved in the, what I'm just going to say, the outside world. And I have to make myself aware of when the outside world is affecting me, and why is it affecting me, and why am I letting it affect me. I have to be conscious of my thoughts, my feelings, and my gestures, my bodily functions, I was going to say then. Yeah, bodily functions. I have to endure the displeasing manifestations, Gurdjieff calls them, the displeasing manifestations of other people, of course, whether it's to others or to myself. I'm probably displeasing to other people. I know some people find me a bit odd, but then they're normally people that are stuck in the old lunatic asylum and don't want to be open-minded, let's say. It's quite difficult to introduce the Gurdjieff work to people that aren't interested in anything like that. That's why he used to say, don't talk about this to other people. So I have to put on the I version of me, like I've said before about our work heads, and the head we put on when we're with our family, and then the different head we put on when we're doing the Gurdjieff work. Our human machine is pretty well programmed to fit into them roles. But we have to remember that our thoughts, our emotions, our moods are normally driven by a certain I that's popped up in that moment. And of course, this all comes back down to the old self-observation and knowing thyself. The old ancient school of Athens. Know thyself. Do you know who you are? Well, as I was saying, I'm going through the whole question again. I have been through it before. Who am I? Do I know myself? Am I deluding myself? Is my ego trying to do things that the real person inside me would not want? Do I want to be known? Or do I just want to know myself? So I've been doing a lot more of self-observation lately. Maybe because I've had a bit more time on my hands to be able to do that. I'm trying to watch myself from afar. Watching what I am identifying with. Watching what I'm struggling with. And trying to remember myself and who I am. So easy to forget ourselves, isn't it? And suddenly be caught up with everything again. Liberty and freedom's been something that's been on my mind throughout my life. And I used to find it very difficult when Gurdjieff used to talk about our true freedom is when we are not identified. But the more and more I do this work, the more and more I become aware that freedom is not being identified with anything. But it's very difficult to hold that state for a long time. But practice makes perfect, as I used to be told in my guitar lessons many, many years ago. So I just wanted to give you a little encouragement of continuing doing the Gurdjieff work, and hope that you are discovering who you are, what you are, or whether you are anything at all. Hopefully you are free enough to be going forward in life an awakened person. But I just wanted to give a little reading from Gurdjieff, chapter 27 of the Beelzebub's Tales. And concerning this, he once said the following: the factors for the being impulse of objective conscience arise in free-brain beings from the localization in their presence of particles of the emanations of the sorrow of our all-loving and long-suffering, endless Creator. That is why the source of manifestation of genuine conscience in free-centered beings is sometimes called the representative of the Creator. So those are words to ponder on. Are you doing the Gurdjieff work to help you become a representative of the Creator? Hope you guys are reading Beelzebub's Tales to his grandson, and I look forward to hopefully doing some more shows in the future. You know, sometimes I have to really push and strive to rise myself up and out of everyday life to do the work, but I'm sure you're all having that struggle as well, especially in how fast everything seems to be going at the moment. Time seems to have sped up. But I constantly ask myself to be enveloped in the divine love and to help to guide me to go forwards in positive thinking. So to one and all, do think about the quote I've just read to you, and I thank you for listening. My books are still available through my website or through Amazon, and I look forward to next time. Love and peace to one and all.